Welcome into another edition of SC Checks In. We've got a special guest with us, Spencer Barnett, former Southeastern baseball player. Spencer, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking the time. Spencer played baseball for Southeastern, transferred in from a Division I. Spencer, talk about that transition coming from a school like that to Durant and why you chose Southeastern.
Yeah, it was something that I didn't plan on. Coach Matheny and Roland Fanning, they recruited me pretty hard out of junior college. And so I knew them before I went to the Division I that I went to, and just had a really good bond with them. I think they were just genuine with me. And then after my junior year, it was more of a financial situation for me. I thought I was going to get drafted, didn't get drafted. School there was going to be quite a bit more expensive. And so it was more of a financial decision. I didn't come here to say, I wanted to, transfer schools because I wasn't happy. So I didn't leave with a bad taste in my mouth at ORU. I love that program, love the coach that I played for. But financially for me, I didn't want to graduate with a lot of student debt. So made the transfer here to Southeastern, played with some of my best friends. It was the best time in my 4-year college career, I think, just on and off the field. I'm coming from a big city, Broken Arrow, down here to Durant, and this is where I started my family. So it's just been a wild journey, and I thank God for it. It wasn't my plan, but when the big guy steps in and kind of divine stuff, it just kind of lays out a little bit easier.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, when you came here, quite a bit of your junior college teammates came here. They were juniors, I think, when I was a senior, so I think that probably helped with the transition. And I bet it was fun to play with those guys.
We called it a junior college, all conference team. So we had, I think we had 11 D1 transfers come in that year that I came in. I was included in that 11, so there's 10 other guys. And most of those guys played in, I can't think of the conference, but the conference in Oklahoma, Seminole, Connor State, Eastern, and all those guys were all conference players. So we had a stacked team of bi-state. That's what it's called, bi-state conference.
Yeah, bi-state.
It was a fun year, man. It was a lot of talent, a lot of good stuff.
So let me ask you this. Did you ever get Coach Matheny to throw you batting practice?
I can't say that I've ever hit off one dog. I never thought about that until now, but I don't think I've ever taken any BP off him.
I have never either. He used to hit fungo at me with a metal bat, which was awesome. So you come here, you play, you graduate. What about life after baseball? What'd you get your degree in, and then kind of, you transitioned to your first big boy job. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was another God thing. Never had any intentions of staying in Durant full time. I was 3 years of computer engineering, and so when I came here, they did not have that, so it transferred into a blend of IT and computer education, which I was fine with. It was some skills that I had. Left Durant literally, after I graduated. We moved back to Tulsa, had some internships lined up, some job interviews. My wife gets a call. I guess it was my fiance at the time. We weren't married. Gets a call from the hospital in Durant, and she was like, "Do you want to move back to Durant?" And I was like, "Well, I could probably start coaching. I'd love to coach." And so came back down here. My wife worked at the hospital. I got in with Coach Matheny, asked him if I could coach. So I did the graduate assistant program. Loved it. Worked with Ryan Bowen. And Coach Matheny, two guys that are doing Ryan's doing really well. Coach Matheny's obviously retired, but two people that are just really good baseball people. And so after that was done, had some opportunities to go coach. We were married at that time, and, just trying to grow up. I thought, I just probably need to make a mature decision here. My wife was financially in a good situation here in Durant, so I was trying to find something that would work around here. Had a job offer from the casino, the Choctaws, that I really wanted to take, and then God just kind of opened up a teaching position at Denison High School for exactly what I had my degree in. It was kind of a programming, higher-end computer stuff, and did that for a couple years, did that for 5 years, and then I did real estate on the side as I was teaching. And then, you've lived in Durant, you know how real estate's been. It's been so good that I just made the transition to do real estate full time. So I started a brokerage, Impact Realty. We service here, Broken Bow, Tulsa. Our team is growing. So, man, it's been a whirlwind. I got 2 kids in Durant. Both my kids were born here in Durant. But no, I had no intentions of ever rooting up, so to speak, in this town. I love it. I don't regret it. But when I look back, it was definitely not my plan. It was God's plan. So I just try to be obedient in the moment.
Right. So, you start going to realty full time, and I know you told me before you just kind of fueled your passion, and so it's just that was that transition. And is that really why you wanted to do it? You just got into that, buying land and getting into that kind of stuff?
Man, I think it's a blend. I've got a teacher's heart, so I love the classroom. And real estate really transitions well, in my opinion, if you do it correctly. It's normally the biggest expense of someone's life. And I try to educate people through that. I walk them through the baby steps of what it's like and make sure I present all the numbers. It's not rocket science, but there is a learning curve in real estate to purchasing a house and getting your financing. And so I'm still a teacher or a coach. They're the same thing. It's just a matter of what element you're providing. So I love what I do. I love the investment side of it. I don't want to call myself a builder, but I've built a few houses. So I'm learning about that and just community development and trying to make everything better that I can be a part of. So real estate, it's a part of everybody's life. You always have somewhere to live. So it's an avenue that I've really enjoyed. Like I said, teaching people through. So that's kind of one of our slogans is, we have the heart of a teacher. So I still feel like I'm teaching, but it's in a different industry.
Right. So how's the market been? How have you been? Have you been busy during this time where we're safer at home, stay at home?
Yeah.
Have you kept the same amount showing houses, just showing them differently? What have you been doing?
Yeah. So not to transition off Southeastern, but I can definitely put a plug in for real estate. We're doing virtual showing, so our brokerage is definitely adapting to the changing times. We are a cloud-based brokerage, so most of our stuff is done without ever having face-to-face interaction. Our contracts are done through your email. So we've always tried to be courteous of other people's time, and by not, hey, meet me here, or let's go do this. We go look at the house, the property that they're wanting, and then we're going to do everything else remotely that we can, and even if that means closing remotely. So we were actually set up very well for this before COVID. So that's been an easy transition. The weird stuff is like the handshaking. I really hope that we get back to that. I'm a handshaker. I'm a real personal guy. But that's been challenging for me to step back and give the 6 foot of distance. The market, people say it's hot. The homes have held value. So if you're watching this for real estate information, your home has probably held value or increased. But the amount of houses that have sold compared to last year are down a little bit. So last year, I think, was our best year for new construction development, right? You look around, there's neighborhoods going up everywhere. You're seeing that slow down a little bit, but the values aren't changing. So real estate's still doing very well in our area. We're very blessed to kind of be immune to a recession-type knee-jerk reaction or whatever you want to call it to the market. So the values are still really good in Texoma, but you are seeing people that were kind of window shopping remove themselves from the equation. If you have a property that's for sale right now and someone's coming to look at it, it's a serious, legit buyer. Nobody's out, window shopping. So there's still buyers and sellers out there. We're still moving the market a little bit, but they continue to go up, man. I keep saying, I'm from Tulsa with, right from where you are. Our markets, Durant, Bryan County, Clara, Silo School, all that kind of stuff. It's getting bigger towards kind of like some of the bigger cities where you don't really know when you're leaving one town and going to the other because everything's developing so well. So I think it benefits everybody. Some people get mad that house values are going up, and I'm like, everybody's house value is going up. You know what I mean? Like, it's good for everybody. So it's just a really good season for real estate. And if I don't put a plug in for myself, am I really doing this for the right reason? So if you have any real estate questions, our website's very simple to remember. It's allovertexoma.com. You can call me personally. My cell phone's on there. If you just want some numbers or information on what's going on, we'd love to educate you on that. So thanks for asking me that question. Let me put a plug in there.
Hey, you're welcome. You're still one of ours. You're still part of our team, even though you've moved on. So, you mentioned the coaches you played for, obviously Coach Matheny and then Roland. Got any times where any stories about them that you could say, or maybe talk about some times with your teammates that really kind of encompass what Southeastern is?
I'll tell you a funny story. Probably my most memorable moment was when I got ejected. Roland got ejected. Coach Fanning got ejected. And I don't remember if Coach Matheny did, but they told him, no, he didn't, because they said if you get ejected, you're going to have to forfeit because there wasn't any more coaches. So I'm hitting, and the guy behind the plate was very impatient, and he was like, get in the box. And Coach Matheny's like, he's got all the time in the world. He can step out of the box. So I'm like, I don't know what to trust right here. So the first pitch, I fouled off, strike one. Next pitch, I put my foot out. I'm getting a sign. And he's like, get in the box or it's a strike. And so I call time, and I go in there and I tell Coach, I'm like, hey, this guy is rushing me. And so Coach gets on him a little bit, telling him to slow me down. And this guy calls one outside, like probably 7 or 8 inches off the plate, just to prove a point. So I'm like 0-2. And I'm like, I turn around and I said, are you kidding me? And he's like, get in the box or it's strike 3. So next pitch, breaking ball, hits in front of the plate. I don't even check swing. I just step right back out, and he rings me up for stepping out. And so I lose it. I slam my bat down, and the catcher is trying to get out of the way of me and the umpire because I'm trying to yell at him. And it was kind of this weird timing thing. It was unintentional, but me and him, I chest bumped him, so I was walking towards him, and he falls to the ground. So now my ejection turns into like an NCAA violation because there's physical contact. Coach Fanning comes down from first base. Everybody's livid because it was just a bad deal. And, Coach Fanning's trying to get me out of the field because I'm upset. And then the guy dumps Roland. And so now I'm gone, Roland's gone, and this is in like 30 seconds or a minute. And Coach Matheny is just now making his way down from third base trying to figure out what's going on. The guy won't tell him anything. He just says, me and Coach Fanning are gone. And he goes, if I have to run you guys are going to forfeit. So it was a Southeastern moment. Me and Coach Fanning went and got a good Dr. Pepper and a hot dog and sat out behind right field and watched the game. We won. And after the game, Coach Matheny was like, what happened? Like, I still don't know what happened. So I told them my side of the story. Coach Fanning, I don't think he got tossed for a legitimate reason, but man, it was just something that we still judge. Someone got a picture of me chest bumping the umpire, like in that moment. And so I looked like some villain, like I'm attacking somebody when it was completely an accidental step. But no, that's probably my most memorable Southeastern thing. And one more story, and then it's kind of the baseball side of Matheny. Everybody calls him legend or one dog. And so there's so many stories and stories that I heard from him that I didn't witness. But one of the ones that I witnessed, probably the maddest I've seen him get, I think it was San Angelo, one of the Texas schools was up here playing. And their third base coach was getting right on the bag and looking down the line and stealing our catcher's signs. And Coach told the umpire, like, hey, he's stealing our signs. Get him in the box. And so it was a doubleheader. The umpire never said anything. And in between the doubleheader, Coach Matheny goes out there and repaints the coach's box. And also, I didn't know this, but also printed out the rules of that the coach has to be in the coach's box. So, like the very first pitch, coach calls time and goes out there with the rules, doesn't even make it to home plate and gets ejected. So that guy stole our signs. They wouldn't do anything, and then coach is the one that got ran.
Well, the inside joke is you really didn't have to look down the line to really steal our signs because they were so simple. So it wouldn't have taken very long anyway. So yeah. That's awesome. We could go on for days about Coach Matheny, me playing for him.
Good times.
It was an exciting time in probably both our lives. So now, you like you say, you transition back to Durant. This is an awesome place to call home. I love hearing people that want to come back here and live here, because I do think this is a special place, and we're growing. But, when you think of Durant, what does that mean to you?
Man, the way I explain to people, and I'm coming from Tulsa, so larger city, never thought I would get in a town like this with I think the census is going to get updated quite a bit, but, around 20,000 is what we're estimating. Smaller town feel. There's no drama to me. There's no traffic. When I get my oil change, the guy knows my name. He shakes my hand, or he used to shake my hand, I guess, before COVID. When I go pick my pizza up, they're new employees. They know my name. It's a small town feel that I never had. And it's with everything that's going on in the world, right? With all this stuff that's happening, it's just a good place to feel secure. The people are genuine. The church that we belong to is genuine. So I always just tell people that it's a genuine small town. It's what you watch in the movies, where people just genuinely care about. What Romas did for those 4 young men this week. I think that's a great example of what Durant is. I mean, it's just so many people from different backgrounds and like me from a big city that just come together and call this place home. So I love it. I don't want to say I'll never leave. I want to be obedient to where I'm called to go. But man, we've just, like I said, I've had 2 kids here, got married here. This is where I truly started my life, my adult life. So don't regret it at all. Love it. Try to give back, try to make it better, of course. But we just really enjoy being here.
It's definitely a special place, and then when you think of Southeastern Oklahoma State University and the blue and gold, what does that mean to you? What comes to your mind when I say that? Man,
I don't want to pump your ego here, but I think that the last 2 years we've seen some changes that a lot of us have really wanted to see with the weight room, allowing the athletics to just be better competitors. And you saw that in basketball this year.
Oh, yeah.
The first year, or maybe I don't know how long Coach Fears has been here, but the first year I think that we've had a strength coach, or second year maybe, that was the most physical I've ever seen a basketball team play. So it means a lot, when I see SC or I see the emails coming through. I think that, you guys on the back end of that are pushing everything forward, changing, however you guys are dealing with this COVID thing. I don't know, but it's nice to see some new things coming to life, and definitely the competitive side. I mean, that was a big year for basketball. The whole town, I think, was supportive of that, and it just sucks that it got cut off short. So I hate that for the coaches and players that just got cheated on their year. So how does that work, by the way? I don't know. Do they get their senior year back, or
not in the winter sports? 98% of all the teams, had played their seasons, and so we were heading into NCAA competition with the men and the women, and that was a very unfortunate thing for them. I think they persevered through that, and it definitely means a lot in this community to have the blue and gold representing, this town, this university, and other states in NCAA competition. That's so
they can't play. That's their eligibility. That's the end
it.
of their.
Now, spring sports a little different. So baseball, softball, golf, all those sports, they did get another year because they were probably just over 30% playing. So, we'll have some seniors returning, kind of a last dance as we kind of put that in there. And so we'll let them come back and kind of hit reset, and we'll rock and roll. But all the schools got that opportunity. So we're excited for that. We're excited for those spring sports and those student athletes to some start their masters because they graduated, and some have an extra year to finish their degree. As sometimes it's hard to graduate in 4 years.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate you taking the time with me. I'm sorry. And then the only other question I have to ask is how many monsters are loaded in that fridge behind you?
Man, I've actually got a new one. I can go get it out, but it's like an amino. It's supposed to be a healthy energy drink. So I wish I could say that I'm some fitness guru and just got healthy stuff, but no, still got caffeine. Yeah, sometimes I need to pick me up. So,
well, I appreciate you taking time. Once all this social distancing, safer at home stuff ends, come see us. We're laying the turf right now in the turf room for the weight room, and it's we're getting close. And so once it's safe and everybody gets to come back, we'd love to show it around and showcase it to everybody. But I appreciate you taking time today, and come see us when you're able to come on campus.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for all that you guys are doing, and I can't wait to watch this back and have you edit some stuff out for me.
Well, I appreciate it. Once again, Spencer Barnett, former Southeastern baseball player, Southeastern grad, Durant resident, which is a big one. Thank you. We'll see you.